You hungry?
Boom.
How you feeling, Jim?
I feel great.
You sound like a paedophile.
I sound like a paedophile because I've got a chest infection. So,
Not from paedophilia. Are you contagious?
it could be.
So, Jim, we'll pretty much be delivering
The odd sarcastic.
nodding, confused look.
You even crop me out, just see my shoulder.
It just wouldn't be the same, Jim, without
No,
you.
no.
You know.
It's better to have half of me than none of me.
Which half?
The good half.
It's at the bottom. The
Mm.
bottom half. Right.
Sound like a sex pest.
I mean, it's doing things for me. Why do you think I've got the guitar here? Hiding my groinal area. Welcome. This is the British Journal of Mad Science Films
Or
episode.
BJ for short.
If you must. We have recently got back and survived the 2-day Fractured Visions Film Festival put on by our good friend Big Philly Styles, or Philip Escott, as other people know him. Yeah, it was a good fest. Jim, you popped along for Sunday.
Sundays even, yeah, we had
Checked out
filmed the award ceremony at the end, myself and Tom.
Yeah, it
Tagged along.
was good stuff. And then, yeah, I was there for the whole thing. You know what? I'm getting old though. I was feeling it. Monday, I was feeling it. Like, even though like it was wrapping by about midnight, I was getting back by about half midnight.
Yeah. I literally stopped on and I got work. Boring fucking
Oh,
work.
I know you missed Puppet Master: The Littlest Reich.
Yes, yeah.
It's a fun film, man.
It looked really fun.
Really plainly shot, but Phil was telling me that it was shot in 10 days, which is like, you know,
Oh, okay.
what we shoot in. So fair play. If they shot it in 10 days, then it can look like a fucking TV movie, but with a lot of gore and some
Yeah.
sick jokes, some probably sick jokes. That was a lot of fun. That was the main feature that closed the festival, along with a short film by a talented director called, well, the film's called Portraits. And the director is Jonathan Zoran. Zoran. He turned up along with the actors, including Kate Pothecary, and we interviewed them. So here's them talking about Portraits.
I'm Jonathan Zoran, and I've made a film called Portraits. The initial idea for the film came from a friend of mine who sent me a screenplay. And I just finished a little film called To the World, which was a very arty student sort of film. And I received that screenplay, and it was completely different. And I looked at it and I thought, do you know, I think I can do this film for very little. And that was important to me because I made the film also as part of my BA course, so as a student. One of the obvious challenges was the money, because we did that film for £80 total. So that was part of the challenge, was to see how we were going to do that film, because it was a horror fantasy film, and there was a lot of effects, and it was effect heavy, and so I had to basically go through the screenplay and adapt absolutely everything to our budget. So it's a case of adapting location, adapting characters, adapting scenes to what you have. So you try and keep the story intact, but at the same time you sort of go through things that you have to change. So the meaning and the content stays exactly the same, but the details, the dressing changes. If I had to do things differently on Portraits, I'd basically redo the whole thing. That's the problem, is that's what we were talking about earlier, especially when you're on a low budget like that and you end up doing everything yourself. Because like I said, I shot this movie, I edited this movie, I graded this movie, I rewrote part of the screenplay. So after a while, you just look at it and you go, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit, I hate this. So there's very little I love about it now. A year in the making, it's a nightmare. I can't even look at it. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at over there when it's showing tonight, probably. But yeah, I mean, I think that's normal. If it wasn't like that, if you were really pleased by the end of that project, you wouldn't do anything else. You'd go, you know what? I'm happy with that, and that's that. So you have to move on and sort of hate your own film so that you can do something else. What draws me to the horror genre? That's a hard question. That's a hard question because the answer is simple, is that I love it. I love that genre. I grew up with it. I think it's a story that terrifies a lot of British people, but I always tell them I think I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was 9, you know, and that's that thing where suddenly your brain just doesn't work properly anymore. You've got a switch in there that turns on and you're like, yeah, horror films. That's me now. And since then, you know, I've seen, I don't know how many horror films. I absolutely love horror films. And yeah, so that was always a thing for me to sort of try and do genre films, which is a challenge when you don't have a budget because obviously they do cost a fair bit of money, you know. So yeah, no, I love horror. That's the answer. The Hereford film scene, I don't know if I'd call it a scene. What I would say is because we've tried to work obviously without budget, and I'm not just saying that as in, oh, we don't have money, so we'll do it anyway, but really working around the philosophy of working without a budget, because then you get a bit of creative freedom and you have to be a bit inventive, and that I've always found that exciting. My cult filmmakers are Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi and John Carpenter and people that they were inventive. And part of being able to do that, the way to be able to do that is to form a community, because then people will work for free and they'll be enthusiastic about a project and they'll give you more, they'll go the extra mile. And so a scene, maybe not, but a little community that's starting to work around film, yes, definitely. We are trying to create that, and part of why we're here today as well is to try and branch out and not just stay in our little corner of Hereford, but make ourselves known to people like yourself. You know. Next for us, we have another short film that we've just released called Dirt. Still a fairly brutal, dark, moody, but funny film about a traumatized homeless veteran who goes on a killing rampage when he finds a child trafficking organization. I mean, I say it's funny. We did a showing. It took a good 20 minutes for people to actually start laughing when they thought, okay, maybe I can relax a bit and laugh at that. And now this is done. We have a feature in the making. We're going to try and do a feature on the same basis of very little money, a lot of inventiveness and working around the community and what we can get done in Hereford.
Anything more you can tell us about the feature?
Yeah, I can probably tell you a little bit. It's going to be a bit of a change of direction. Sadly, I've lost my mother 4 weeks ago. It's been a hard time, and we have several projects in the working. My friend Jerome, who wrote Portraits, is writing a horror feature, and in the meantime, while he does that, he's very slow. So not intellectually, but as far as work pace. And while he does that, I'm writing a road movie about 3 siblings who have to scatter their mum's ashes in Wales. So that's exciting to be. We're going to be able to work with the whole idea of transferring the road movie, the very American genre, to Wales, and that's going to be very, you know, it should be funny and moving at the same time.
I'm Kate Pothecary. I'm an actor and producer in the short film Portraits. I initially got involved in the project because Jonathan Zorin, the director, was filming a showreel for a friend of mine and he asked me to act in it for him, and we just hit it off. I really enjoyed the role because it's very different. Like today, lots of people have said, "Oh, that's you. That doesn't look like you at all." So it's quite nice playing someone who's a bit extreme and slightly unhinged. That's always quite fun. The horror genre does let you step out of normality a little bit. So yeah, I think that's mainly it for me. Sometimes the blood and guts gets, it's not necessarily my thing, but I really enjoy the sort of extreme nature of it at times. I quite like realism. I enjoy doing things that are sort of strike a chord with normality, but maybe a little bit different. I've got a few plays coming up, but with Jonathan and LBS Films, we're really trying to get funding to do a feature. I think we might do something quite different from anything we've done before.
There you go.
I can talk for England, so, you know.